What's going on? Welcome to Asian Cosell. So I have a video here, and yeah, the video is Dating is Dead. Why should South Koreans choose to be single? And of course, in my title, I'm like, yep, it's dying. And if we keep this up, we're headed for extinction. So let's look at this and let's check out this video. So here we go.
Faster than it did in Europe during the Black Plague. South Korea's birth rate has officially dropped to an all-time low of 0.72 as of 2024, the lowest in the world. Now, there are many reasons for this, and I'm sure you've seen plenty of videos explaining them already: financial pressures, intense work culture, gender conflicts, sole centralized structure, you name it. But what's even more interesting is how young Koreans have stopped dating altogether. Simply put, no dating means no couples, no marriages, and of course, no babies. And that's becoming a serious problem. The South Korean government has even stepped in with official dating programs, and even Buddhist temples are now offering matchmaking temple stays to help people couple up. In the first part of this video, let's break down some of the numbers and reports to get a grasp of the situation. And in the latter part, let's take a look at some raw comments on the internet from South Koreans themselves on this issue. So, according to a recent survey, 62.4% of non married Koreans over the age of 18 are not in a relationship, while only 37.6% are. And that's pretty shocking. So, why aren't people dating?
So crazy numbers, huh? And besides Korea, you know, pretty much it's a worldwide phenomenon, but Korea is headed towards that extinction. So let's keep watching.
Well, to start with men, the most common reason was I don't have the financial luxury to meet someone, with 27.9% saying that. Other reasons included I'm comfortable being alone at 25.9%, I don't have opportunities to meet people at 24.7%, and it's just a hassle at 7.9%. For women, the top reason was I'm comfortable being alone with 31.5%, and the other reasons were kind of similar with the men. And then there's another fascinating stat: 57.3% of Koreans in their 20s to 30s said that they have never been in a relationship before. Can you believe that? And when you stretch that out to 20 to 59 years old, it's still at 25.5%. So we're not talking about just young people here, it's across the board. And what's interesting is that industries related to dating, like restaurants, bars, movie theaters, are seeing significant declines because of this so called dating recession. Even when people do date, they're dating on a budget. For your info, last year, single men and women spent an average of 74,700 Korean won, which is around 55 US dollars per date, which is down from the previous year. Interestingly, while the men pay for everything, or men should pay more, culture is still common in Korean dating. 39% of the men said that financial pressure is the reason they are not dating, compared to 0%.
So do you see that? And in the States, in America, there's all over social media, women's like, yeah, he needs to pay for my babysitter. He needs to pay for this. And, it's going to cost him 300 to take me to a five-star restaurant. But, in Korea, even if things are getting expensive, man, for most average guys, yeah, 74,001, 55 US dollars is just a lot. And you get nothing in return with that chick, and you want traditionalism? It's BS. You get nothing in return on investment. But let's find out.
From the women's side, at least in this survey. Speaking of men, though, funny enough, I guess I'm technically part of the non dating generation too, but that hasn't stopped matchmaking companies from spamming my phone every single day. I don't know how they know I'm not dating, but I keep getting sketchy messages, not just from matchmaking companies, but also phishing attempts for things like adult chat sites, and even worse, offers linked to prostitution. As creepy as it sounds, maybe they're trying to attract lonely men like me. Luckily, though, I'm not too worried about my information leak or phishing attempts anymore because I've got Aura. Today's video is sponsored.
All right. So, yeah, so I'm going to surpass this because, yeah, he's just doing a promotion. So, Larry, let's get there.
Luxury trend is booming. Couples are going to fine dining restaurants, enjoying hotel stays, taking long drives, which of course requires a car, and exchanging expensive gifts. For example, Park Jae-min, a 22-year-old university student, said, "Since I don't have much money as a student, I had to save up for several months just to prepare for my
Damn.
partner's birthday. I wanted to make it special, so I went all out with a fancy dinner and a nice gift." Professor Kwok from the Department of Psychology at Seoul National University explains that this trend comes from growing social inequality. As materialism becomes more widespread, young people feel that dating requires expensive outings and events. And for those who can't afford these things, they just opt out of dating altogether. And let's not forget social media. Young Koreans are constantly exposed to images of lavish dates and luxury lifestyles online, which only makes them feel like they can't keep up. And so far, we've covered the financial reasons why many young Koreans aren't dating, but there's more to it than that. Beyond just money, many are seeing dating as inefficient or even unnecessary. A study showed that among the 65.6% of 19 to 36-year-olds who aren't dating, 70.4% said they are single by choice. A decade ago, when we talked about people giving up on dating, marriage, and having kids, it was more of a sad, involuntary choice, known as the Sampo Sedae or Sampo generation in Korea. But now it's a voluntary decision for many. The
Oh yeah. One thing I need to state, like in South Korea, like okay, if you go through the whole process, right? You go through the dating and all that. You know, here's the thing: the guy has to provide the real estate, the house. The woman has to provide, mostly the housing gifts. And these days, to find a home, you're talking $1 million, you know, in Gangnam, especially if you know Gangnam style. Yeah, you have houses in the millions. And then just for like a basic house in a small city, it's like at least 250,000 US dollars. You're like, it's not affordable. But let's listen in.
younger generation sees dating as a luxury, something they could do, but they don't need to do. So the question is, do they really have a choice, or are they just adapting to the circumstances? And yet, here's a weird contradiction. While fewer people are dating reality shows have never been so popular.
Oh,
Shows like
God.
Singles Inferno, I Am Solo, Transit Love, Heart Signal, and On are all major hits in Korea right now.
Mm-hmm.
People are even phrasing it the golden era of dating reality shows in Korea. According to Mbrain Trend Monitor, 52.2% of Koreans aged 19 to 49 have watched a dating reality show, and 53.3% said that they use these dating shows as proxy dating or vicarious satisfaction. Basically, they're getting their dating fix by watching others fall in love on TV. Experts say that this is similar to how people on diets try to watch videos to satisfy their cravings. And another irony in this dating recession is the rising of dating apps. According to this statistic, 78.1% of young people hadn't met a new romantic partner since COVID 19 started. Now, traditionally, dating apps have had a bad rep in Korea. They were seen as tools for casual relationships or AKA hookups, but that stigma is slowly fading. I guess it's being seen as convenient, less energy draining, and efficient in some way. For the younger generation who don't have opportunities to meet people, apps are becoming perfect bridges. However, the type of apps are getting specific too to cater towards the younger Korean generation. For instance, dating apps like Amanda, where users have to be verified and rated by others to join, or Gold Spoon, which verifies users' assets, jobs, and even cars, are getting more popular. Ironically, even with more people using more types of dating apps, the number of actual couples is still dropping. And some experts point out that dating apps might be just feeding into the materialistic and individualistic culture among the youth, where relationships are sadly viewed as disposable or replaceable. Apparently, the Korean MZ generation value efficiency and individualism. They've grown up in a hyper competitive society and they don't want to fail in dating unless they find the perfect partner. Korea's intense focus on education and economic
And you guys see, especially in Korea and of course around the world, yeah, the women are like, yeah, I want a guy that's educated. Blue collar ain't gonna work just like in America. And then, being a blue collar work in America, pays pretty well. Here in Korea, it doesn't pay so well. So being blue collar here doesn't really pay much at all, unless you're really, in a job that really needs it, but it's still from America to Korea. America's up here with the blue collar work. But yeah, but mostly ladies in general, I want an educated guy. And, but let's see.
economic uncertainty have seemed to diminish enthusiasm for relationships. According to a survey by Shiza In, 64.2% of respondents said competition in Korea makes them feel exhausted. This sentiment is especially strong among singles who have no plans to marry. Professor Ho Jung-hwa notes that while past generations might have sacrificed for love and family, today's youth are more cautious. The fear of failure, job instability, and high expectations have led many to delay dating and focus on themselves instead. And the reasons keep going on. Another thing is that there are so many enjoyable things to do alone now, quite frankly. You can ask any office worker, single or in a relationship, what they do after work, and you'll often hear, I just like to watch Netflix or YouTube at home. It's affordable, it's easy, and it gives them joy without needing to go out.
Yep, Netflix and chill, you know, and yeah. And another thing that I've kind of encountered, it's like, yeah, why really date out in Korea, especially, you know, for me, it's a language barrier, even if I speak some Korean, but it's a language barrier. And I'm just like, yo, I pretty much like that's the hell with dating Korea. That's why I kind of like, date out in Southeast Asia or something, and and even Korean males, they're just getting tired of it too. They're getting tired of their women, and they're like, you know what, screw this. I might go international. But let's listen in.
Compare that to our parents' generation where entertainment options were very limited. So today, with smartphones, computers, and endless content online, young people are
Mhm.
experiencing endless opportunities. And to continue, warning now, we have to get into everybody's favorite subject, gender conflict, which, quite frankly, is a big problem in South Korean
Oh
society.
yeah.
Young Korean people in their 20s express a variety of views on gender discrimination. In particular, for Korean women, they are still dealing with everyday sexism in a society that is still very patriarchal. And Korean men, on the other hand, feel like the media and politics exaggerate these extreme views, making gender conflicts seem worse than they are. Date assault, hidden cameras, revenge porn, and deepfake scandals constantly hitting the news, distorting the image of Korean men.
세상에서 가장 실력 있는 신비로운 델타
Oh,
포스
sorry
특수부대를
about that,
기억하시나요?
guys.
그들의 전적에 대해 종종
All right, let's continue.
Moving on, high expectations in dating are also very common. Online forums are filled with ideal types that are unrealistic for most people to meet. And recently, for men, the
All right, you see this right here? You know, just around the world, there's that word hypergamy or hypergamy or whatever. Okay, so a woman who makes maybe 32,800 in the US, it's different. She wants a man that makes more than her. She wants a man that's taller than her. She wants a man that has an education that's higher than her. Majority. Not all, but majority. And it's becoming that way. And this is ideal, but this is not reality because majority of the savings is mostly debt. So kind of think about that, you know, from from both the US and now South Korea. And things are getting expensive here in Korea. Just a thought.
term marry up, where women seek to marry wealthier and higher status men, adds to the frustration and pressure they feel. And last but not least, we have to finally mention the regional imbalance. Outside of Seoul, young Korean people in rural areas simply don't have any options to meet people their age. While men are relatively still needed more in the countryside and other cities for manual labor jobs, factory jobs, and industrial jobs, women, on the contrary, are flocking to Seoul for better career prospects. And eventually, this leaves a big gap in regional societies. And now, let's take a look at some real comments from the Korean netizens. It's gonna get spicy, so buckle up. And starting with the ladies, I'm fine by myself. We don't eat shit just because we're hungry. It doesn't affect my life even if I don't date. You can have so much fun by yourself, anyways. There's no one good looking. There's a saying, you mess yourself up by meeting a guy, but you can't get messed up by not meeting one. And that's no joke. We see so many cases of women ruining their lives after dating. And from the men's side, I'm exhausted and I'd rather stay alone than deal with you. You need emotional space to handle someone else's problems and look for their good qualities. Frankly, there aren't many people who are like sweet vitamins that give you energy. It's not that I like being alone, it's just better off being alone. Nowadays, instead of seeking joy, I'd rather avoid stress during my free time. To continue, here are some of the most upvoted comments from related YouTube videos and articles. I'm already in my 30s. I'm so tired and exhausted. It's more efficient to recharge by myself than having a partner. Nobody I know is dating anymore. After I got a job, my free time became too precious. Unless someone amazing comes along, I'd rather rest at home. There are so many other things to do instead of dating. In the old days, there were no smartphones. Now you can just watch whatever you want, eat single serving meals, and order delivery. In order to date, you have to take care of yourself, but the standards keep on getting higher. And because of that, many people give up, and when they do, they feel like complete losers. And it messes with their ego. Lookism, materialism, and a competitive society are driving people away from relationships and towards.
Yep, we're becoming a pet society too, just like around the world. Buy a dog, die alone. Roof, roof, meow, meow. So let's see.
Pets. Love is supposed to be about dedication and sacrifice, but nowadays everyone is calculating and trying not to lose. It's not love anymore, it's dating for the sake of dating. Dating is just expensive. I normally don't eat anything fancy, but when I'm dating, I feel like I need to. Even if we split the bill, the cost is just too high, so I start avoiding it. You can meet people easily on apps, but with all the things to enjoy alone and seeing how marriage turned out for our parents, the fantasy about happiness in marriage is shattered. And finally, I feel like this one sums it up perfectly with over 3,000 likes. Things that need to disappear for Korea to be a better place. Number one, the culture of murderous competition. Number two, the culture of comparing everything and raising standards unnecessarily. Number three, gender conflict that instigates unnecessary division. Number four, the concentration of everything in Seoul. Number five, the work environment that makes marriage and raising kids difficult. As you can see, there are so many reasons to why dating has become less common in South Korea. Whether it's financial pressure, individualism, or just having so many options for solo enjoyment, young people are rethinking relationships, and that is just the reality. And I don't think anybody has a solution. Let me know what you thought about this topic in the comment section. Why do you think dating is on the decline? Is it like this in your countries as well? I would love to hear your opinions.
All right, so yeah, just a complete effort, around the world. This is not just a Korean problem. This is around the world. And yeah, and here's the thing. The heydays of Korea, even when I came to Korea when I was a youngster, you know, uh, uh, and I remember back in the 80s when I was a little kid, I remember there were more families. There was no social media. There was none of it. I mean, my dad, we had 600 US dollars. That lasted us for 6 weeks. $600. I could take, or there, like we have quarters in the U.S. Well, we have the 101, the pegun. I could buy a soda with a pegun. Just an example. It's like crazy. There were more families. Gangnam, the apartments cost what? 50 to 80,000 US dollars. Now it's into the millions. And then, dating today, oh my God, it's just crazy here. You're like, what the hell? Why should I even try? So, for example, and most Korean guys now, they're just getting tired of it. The ones that still want to try, they'll try maybe, other countries, because here's the thing. And if you guys know anything about the marriage rate, international marriage rates, number one is Vietnam. Number two is China. Number three is Thailand. And number four is the Philippines. And, they're thinking about just pass throwing ball themselves. Because what? Korea and Philippines is 4 hours away. I fly every year to the Philippines. So, you know, I would rather just take my chances in Southeast Asia, Thailand, Vietnam. You know, it's getting really bad here with it. And it's getting tougher and tougher. And yeah, of course, we love all the infrastructure that Korea provides, you know, delivery, Coupang, and all that. But, you know, that's the part I enjoy about Korea and the cultural, you know, differences. But yeah, dating, no, no, I'd rather go somewhere else for dating. It's becoming really just effery everywhere. And of course, US is another level of it. So yeah, and shout out to Korean Pizza Kitchen. You know, yeah, Dave, he does a heck of a good job of, you know, bringing up all these issues. And of course, you know, he has yeah, good channel that he even does live streams. So, and talks about Korea and, you know, Korean stuff coming up, you know, K-pop, whatever. So, yeah, shout out to Korean Pizza Club. So, all right. So, if any of you enjoyed any of this content, please give me the HKO special. Help the king out. Hit the like, subscribe, and comment. And wherever you are, stay safe. And I'll see you in my next video.